And there's a lot of other things. I mean, just in being a creator or a leader, I had to have people to protect me, of course, or life forms to protect me, not people, not humans. Actually, I preferred endoskeletons because they're far tougher and far more reliable. A little bit simpler, though, too. Um, anyway, I did all kinds of stuff like for the hive and all that stuff, and basically, huge hive, planetary hives, pretty much. And even adapted and changed and all that stuff. And then later on, they adapted and changed themselves to basically match whatever I needed. Um, just for, it's like, well, I'm your creator and we're in existence together. So, I mean, I created you long, long ago. And also, that's another thing is the others basically, they're doing like this. Well, after they start to think that like when you're a creator that you like lose like humanity or something like that, and they try and blame me for all this other stuff, and it's like, well, not really. I mean, when you're a creator, you're creating life forms and matter and stuff like that, and if you're a good one, then there's a lot of life and a lot of matter in the world, in the universe, particles, whatever. I happen to invent particles, so I had a little bit of an edge on most other life forms because everything is made of what I invented. I did a lot of other inventing too. I mean, other little light stuff, and then I had things invented on my behalf or whatever like that. And, I spanned like 50 trillion years without any problem at all, and basically just being in existence. And then I pretty much did other stuff. And they also do this thing where they do the stories and everything else like they're me. I mean, they try and will Germany over to Adolf Hitler or something like that, so he can basically help them basically be pirates of the sea or something like that. And they try and force him to do stuff and all that, and think that they can do this whole like future shift or whatever shift. And it's like, well, that's all just perversions as well. But I don't know. I mean, there's just all this stuff, and it's just like, they're just on this like wild fantasy ride of pretty much war fantasy, and it's just JFK pretty much and some others, you know, bomb kill, whatever, like life is cheap or something, and then they plan blame me for it all, so they think they can walk away scot free and no one will care, no one will know, and it's like I've been doing this whole like documenting a planet. I think I even documented a galaxy being created and everything else like that. I might have done that. I would have probably done that. I mean, I started documenting things a long time ago, and also I place like markers on other planets, so other life forms, when they finally get old enough, they would see like who I was, what I was, or that I was there, and like 400 other planets and 800 galaxies. I'd usually go to pick like one or two planets or whatever, and then they would have room to grow. In reality, this is what I actually did. So, anyway, and I was in existence long before humans or exoskeletons or like a lot of other things. Like I might span 1,000 trillion years. I don't really even know. Like older than old. And and had created new life forms. To join the ranks and basically plus making life better and making life more what I needed pretty much and stuff. But I mean, eventually, like I say, they started adapting themselves to whatever I wanted, which was really nice and worked really well for me. But because over 100 trillion years, you're always with your life form, so they live, I live, that kind of thing. So anyway though, but JFK does all this like perversion stuff and tries to do this and that and tries to make me think things and tries to do all these joke like photos and stuff, and there's all this other stuff. I mean, going photographs going back 100,000, 100 million years. I mean, we started out with like just like 60 humans, and more and more humans and less of these other life forms, and they didn't really die. They just left. Mostly I pulled them away, and they're all throughout the galaxy anyway, the universe, just wandering around doing what they do, existing, I guess. So, yeah, because they don't really die. I mean, unless they chose to die or whatever. So we're not alone. There's a lot of other life forms, and like I say, I'm one of those epically old Lucifer white stars, and generally my life forms would keep track of me. So I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I could easily get lost. I don't know. I mean, I used to run with like hundreds or thousands of life forms with me. I mean, like technically all of Earth would be my colony, or and 80 galaxies worth of other life forms. I mean, that's how you create stars, and everything else is getting them all to come together, and work with me. And because I was their creator, they always did. They always knew me. So so on Earth, now I'm Brian or whatever, a person. I decided to become a human, live a life, and Jimmy Carter and all the others, they think that that's their chance to take over or whatever. So anyway, but there's greater things. There's the more basic things about existence, like pretty much who's ever the best or strongest, and that pretty much comes down to whoever creator was the best creator and did the best life forms, really. And it's only really a problem if you start trying to kill a creator. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's just that in 100 trillion years they might turn around and go, I wonder who the creator was. And they always did. So anyway, it's kind of like one of those mute points or whatever points. And well, I mean, the story is basically the same. I mean, there's a lot of turns and twists and things like that. And it's a pretty cool legacy, really. I mean, 800 galaxies, 700,000 or more life form types, and things like trees, grass, other things. And then, of course, everything that the life forms did too, because all my life forms were intelligent life forms. I didn't really do any real stupid ones or anything like that. Kind of more basic ones, but not really like stupid or anything. They all had intelligence. And so anyway, and then at some point I probably figured out what sentience or intelligence really is or something, and found a way to do it more. I mean, I can't even remember like 100 trillion years. I can only go back like a couple million, or not even that, a couple thousand, really. I mean, without being an AI that spans 3,000 planets, you really can't remember that much. So anyway, yeah, it's a long, long story, and I figured out how to create water and create all the different particles. I think I also did that. I figured out how to create the different particles too, not just the general particle creation. I mean, I had to do everything for all the galaxies. So because who else am I going to ask? I can't go to the store and say, yeah, I want to order another galaxy. It's like, no, anything you want, you have to be able to create, which means you have to be able to invent, or your life forms have to be able to invent for you. Anyway, Nixon and everybody else think that they can just do this little thing where they hop on, and like ride it to the top or something, ride it along. And it's like, well, not really, because they're not really inventing for you. They're inventing for themselves and me. Like, we're together in this. Just like Germany, just like France, just like the real America, and most other real races. I mean, like, it's about me and it's about them. Well, at least for a long time it was about that.